ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shadow Realm on the east wing of the Hold My Nuggets Incorporated studio. I am the host of the show. What show is that? Your 2019 NFL Week 1 kickoff edition of the Chiseled Adonis analysis pre-game show. Who am I? Well, I'm your host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. And here we make our pre-game picks. We break down who's going to win in week 1 and how I have longed for the football season to return. I've been sitting here watching basketball, hockey, baseball, curling, gymnastics, freaking water polo, tennis, back and forth. I've been watching people work out, waiting for the National Football League to return, and finally I can go and get my fix. I put on a helmet, but of course I don't want to have Antonio Brown looking around. Don't have that on your head. I don't like it. It's not approved by my team. Don't ever find me. But we ain't talking about AB right now. We're going to get to him a little bit later. Let's break down all 16 games in week 1 of the National Football League. All right, I got myself my notes because it's early in the season, so I had to make sure I could write things down. Moving forward, we're going to memory. But nonetheless, all right, let's break down kickoff. All right, tomorrow night, NFC North battle between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. And I believe the Packers will be going on the road. Yes, indeed they are. Number 1, we got Matt LaFleur is now the new head coach of the Green Bay Packers. There is no big stomach, bearded, gray beard in Mike McCarthy. So what's going to go down? Aaron Rodgers is now healthy. I got that written down over here. We got a healthy Aaron Rodgers. I expect the offense to flow magnificently if you have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. More importantly, you got a Devontae Adams out there. This man is a top 5 receiver in the league. He will be able to go and, flourish against the Chicago Bears secondary. Now, granted, you got a Kyle Fuller over there, exceptional. You got an Eddie Jackson back there, exceptional. But it's just something about a healthy Aaron Rodgers, and it don't matter who the receiver is, they're going to be able to make some connections. Now, I'm interested in what's going to happen on the ground, because they're going to need to establish a run game. More importantly, the Green Bay Packers are going to need to be able to block for Aaron Rodgers. What we got over here, they need a revamped offensive line, and I believe they did revamp it. They're going to have to be able to protect this man, because if they can't protect A-Rod, Khalil Mack, Hakeem Nicks, Hakeem Hicks, all those other guys, they will be getting to the quarterback. Raquan Smith and all the boys over there. I believe Danny Trevathan may still be there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bears fans, in the comment section. But they need to be able to block for A-Rod in order to get the Packers offense going. Now, for the Bears, you got a little bit of a change in your running game. There is no more 1,000-yard rusher in Josh Howard. You're hoping to have a 1,000-yard rusher in David Montgomery. This is a new guy coming in, 3rd-round pick, I believe, so he will be back there trying to make the offense move. Now, we're going to return with, you have your Mitch Trubisky throwing the ball. You got your Allen Robinson on the outside. You got Anthony Miller on the inside in the slot. And you got the, I can't remember who the other receiver was. But I don't expect to see a lot of balls being thrown through the air from the Chicago Bears. I think they're going to try to establish that run game going, because last year the Packers defense was relatively abysmal. More importantly, they've been abysmal since 2010 when they won the Super Bowl. But outside of that, did I say 2000? Yes, it was 2010. So yeah, they've changed their defense. They said they got some picks. Their defense playing a little bit better, but we got to see it on the field. Everything looks good on paper until you get on the field and you get hit in the mouth. I have the Green Bay Packers winning this game. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be either a touchdown to field goal differential. I'm feeling about a 27-20 or a 27-24. 27-23, but I know 27 will be involved in this game, and it will be the Green Bay Packers who I think come out on top. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, what's going down in this game? First and foremost, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Blake Bortles is gone. There's a different sheriff in town. It's Nick Foles. Do I expect this man to come in and, change the entire organization around the way he did in Philly? Absolutely not. Then again, he didn't really change the organization in Philly. He walked in, Carson Wentz already had the plane flying. All he had to do was play co-pilot. Hey, I'm going to go take a nap real quick. Then Carson Wentz took a nap. Nick Foles hopped right into the cockpit, and they just flew coasting to the Super Bowl championship, and then the next year to the divisional round of the playoff. But we ain't talking about that right now. Cody Parkey, you kind of made that happen. But we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I expect Nick Foles to go out there and play decent. But who is he throwing the football to? Nobody special. Dede Westbrook is their number one receiver, is it not? Now, no disrespect to Dede Westbrook, but when we talk about number one receivers in the league, when you're looking down the depth chart, or I should say you're looking on the film and you're a defensive coordinator and you need people to circle, you're not circling Dede Westbrook. I'm sorry. No disrespect. I don't mean no disrespect. You can play the game of football effectively. However, you're not that big of a threat. I don't see those threats there for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make Nick Foles appear to be a threat through the air. Now, on the ground, you have a healthy Leonard Fournette. I expect to see the Jacksonville Jaguars go heavy to Fournette. However, do I expect it to be very, it should work to their favor against this Kansas City Chiefs team? Not so much. Why? Because you got Patrick Mahomes, league MVP, coming back. In the backfield, there is no Kareem Hunt. Your starting back will be Damian Williams, and I expect that man to go out there and play well. And don't forget, his backup now is Lesean McCoy. He may be new into the Kansas City Threads, but he's still an exceptional running back. I believe he has over 10K rushing yards. If not, he's approaching. So this is somebody who can play the game of football. It's only a matter of time before he learns that playbook and he ends up taking over that starting role. I'm telling you, there's no way you about to have Lesean McCoy as a backup in this league. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Also, it's a shame Eric Berry's not signed, but we ain't talking about that right now. But that's what's going on over there. I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning. I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown differential. Although they're on the road, I think they're going to be capable. It's hot in Jacksonville right now. Usually it affects multiple teams that come from, I guess, quote-unquote, cold weather states, or states that, it's not really you're hot out there during the wintertime, but it's early in the season. People should be accustomed to the heat. I expect the Kansas City Chiefs to walk down to Jacksonville and get a W. Then Falcons taking on the Vikings in Minnesota. This is a healthy Falcons team. Last year we saw the Falcons get pillaged by injury. Everybody made jokes about this team, overrated, they can't get it done, guys are terrible, they can't win, their defense sucks. Well, let me tell you something. They were top 3 with the injuries in the league. You saw like 5 different bodies go down on opening night against the Philadelphia Eagles last year. It was absolutely brutal. So I expect this healthy Falcons team to come out here and play exceptional football. More importantly, you got Devontae Freeman back healthy on the ground. I expect to see the dreadlock powers at work. He's going to get it done. Matt Ryan had almost the same numbers that he had when he won the MVP last year. He played absolutely sensational. However, it wasn't enough to overcome, his opposition, and the Falcons, they lost a couple of games. But I expect Matt Ryan to go out there and do the exact same thing. Now, this Vikings defense is no slouches. All right, but Matt Ryan is a very exceptional talent. I expect him to play well. More importantly, you got Julio Jones out there. That's a grown man. Then you got other guys on the team. You got Calvin Ridley inside the slot, things like that. I expect the Falcons offense to move effectively. Defensively, I'm not sure. They got some names back. They got some starters back. This Vikings offense, there's a lot of questions. You got a Dalvin Cook coming back. All right, so it's a battle of the returning running backs with dreadlock powers on site. I expect to see a lot of dreadlock Bible verses during this game. All right, but we saw Kirk family member, pardon me, I called him Kirk, but he needs to be able to play exceptionally well against big-time quarterbacks. All right, we've seen this man go out there, primetime games, not get it done. He's been losing when he plays against, a Pro Bowl quarterback, all-pro quarterback. So he's got to be able to prove to himself he can level himself up to the above average sort of situation. Pardon me, that's kind of disrespectful to him. He's above average. But when we talk about elite or on the cusp of being elite, let's say that one, he's got to get himself to on the cusp. There's a different level to elite. He's not even on the cusp. He's in a little above average quarterback. So he's average squared. Let's go with that. He's average squared. So they've got to be able to get it done. You still got Thielen. You still got pardon me. What was his name? I'm forgetting his name. Music City Miracle. Pardon me, not Music City Miracle. That's in Tennessee. What was his name? Oh my Lord! In New Orleans. What? No, not New Orleans. The Minneapolis Miracle. Why is it missing my? It's gonna come to me. All right. Good Lord, how am I forgetting his name? It's in my face. I'm forgetting his name. All right. Somebody tell me who's on the opposite side of Thielen. I don't know why his name's not coming to my head right now. I'm pulling a blank. But yeah, they're like top 3 in the receiving tandems. Why can't I remember his name? All right, we're not gonna stay here. We're gonna move on. We're short for time. All right. Next, moving on to the Tennessee. Oh, and I believe the Falcons will win that game in Minnesota. Then the Tennessee Titans taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, the story team of the offseason outside of the Raiders, of course. But you had your Cleveland Browns make a ton of moves, looking like a super team created in Madden. You got Odell Beckham. You got Jarvis Landry. You got Njoku. In the backfield, you got Chuck. Although I said Chubb. Chubb behind you. And then still waiting 8 games, just waiting to get into the game. You got Kareem Hunt, just waiting to get up in there. And then you got Baker Mayfield, all right? Offensively, they look very stout. They look very good, especially playing against a Tennessee Titan team that defensively ain't really too special. They got some names on there, but I wouldn't consider them anything special. I expect their offense to go out there, and I'm speaking of the Browns, of course. I expect their offense to go out there and play exceptionally well. Now, do I expect them to blow them out, put up a shit ton of points? No, because they have to figure out how to play together. They have to mesh together. Those players, got a lot of egos on the field. They got to be able to mesh that together. Defensively, I expect them to completely decimate Marcus Mariota, who really has to prove himself this season. Why? You got a Taylor Lewin on the left side of the offensive line and left tackle, who's not playing for the first 4 games. Because he's not playing, who's going to be opposite him? Myles Garrett, who just got naked on the ESPN body issue. So this man's about to go out there and put on a ton of clothes. What clothes that's going to be? The clothes of the left tackle, who's going to be falling off, trying to stop this man from getting to Marcus Mariota. So I expect to see the defense of the Cleveland Browns get a shit ton of turnovers, get a lot of sacks, probably about 6 sacks or whatever the case may be. But after the Browns winning this game, they're going to get it done. I'm still not remembering the Vikings receiver name. It's going to come to me by the end of the night. Then the Bills taking on the Jets. AFC East matchup. Let's first talk about the New York Jets. What we got going on? Le'Veon Bell makes his return to the National Football League on the field. Sam Darnold starting at quarterback for what would be his second season? Yes. Then we got on defense, he's got Quincy Enunwa at receiver. He's got Jamison Crowder at receiver coming over from Washington. I like those 2 guys. I always liked Enunwa. Now you got Crowder in the slot. He's going to be something pivotal for Sam Darnold. That's another safety blanket this man can have at his disposal. Might I add, Le'Veon Bell is a 2-way back. Not only can he run it, he can catch it as well, and he plays all 3 downs. This is somebody you need to cut. That's another receiver. So you don't need to have 4 receivers on the field. You just split Le'Veon out wide. You put him in the slot. Ooh, I'm excited for this Jets offense. Defensively, Quentin Williams, you got Leonard Williams, you got McLendon, and then in the linebacking core, you got brought over C.J. Mosley. You got him from Baltimore. And the secondary, Jamal Adams. This is an all-pro safety. In my opinion, one of the top 2 safeties in the league. This Jets team, ooh, they're looking good. They're looking very good. For the Bills, no Lesean McCoy. So on the ground, who's going to be starting? Frank Gore. Now, ageless wonder that he is, I don't expect him to go out there and run for 100 yards. But you need somebody to get some yardage for you to put you in third and manageable, because Josh Allen, although he is an exceptional talent at quarterback, I don't expect this man to be slinging it down the field to Zay Jones or whoever else they have at receiver. So I got the Jets winning this game. And the Bills' defense is always good, so they're going to give the Jets some pressure. Sam Darnold was second in interceptions last year. I believe he had 15 or 14, whatever the case was. I expect him to turn the football over about once. He's probably going to throw 1 interception. He's going to give you 1. But I got the Jets winning this game. Then the Ravens and the Dolphins. I'm interested in this game. Why? Because you got a Lamar Jackson coming back. Can he go out there and sling the football around? We know he can run, but can he throw? In the backfield, Mark Ingram coming over from New Orleans. So this is going to look different. It's going to be interesting what's going on in the backfield. As for receiver, you got Hollywood Brown coming in from Oklahoma, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens in the slot. I expect him to come out there and probably have between 6 to 9 receptions, because he's going to be running short intermediate routes. So I expect Lamar Jackson to be able to find him. Or if not, dump it off to Mark Ingram. He can catch out of the backfield. Although Kamara had those sensational numbers, don't forget, Mark Ingram is also one of those dual threat backs as well. And I expect to see him thrive in Harbaugh's system. Then, on defense, there's no T. Sizzle, although he was, falling off. There's no Eric Weddle, although he was falling off. There's no C.J. Mosley. He was still ascending. There's none of him. But you got an Earl Thomas. And more importantly, that secondary for the Baltimore Ravens, they looking scary. You still got Jimmy Smith, you got Marlon Humphrey, you got Earl Thomas, and there's another guy who's over there, but exceptional over there. Baltimore's always had a great secondary. I don't know what that is. They got a great system down there. They've always figured out a way to have us in top 5 defense. So I figure they're going to find a way to do that this year, although they did lose some names. A lot of people counting them out. I'll never count out the Baltimore Ravens Only time I'll count them out is offensively. Defensively, they're always going to figure out a way to get it done. Baltimore is a defensive town. If only Pittsburgh, hold on to what they used to do defensively and crush people. But of course, it's only been our front seven. The second half, the secondary back there, they need to apply to Baltimore Ravens University to learn how to play some goddamn defense in the secondary. But we ain't talking about Pittsburgh right now. We're going to get to that. Then, on the Dolphins side, hosting the Baltimore Ravens, you got Fitzmagic, who's starting at quarterback. Josh Rosen is going to be on the bench. So you got this man from Arizona only to have the old man with the beard and the magic come in and start. So that's going to be interesting. At running back, you got Kenyon Drake starting at running back. So that's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But I don't feel too good about the pieces that Fitzmagic has to throw to. Because you got Devontae Parker, you got no more Kenny Stills. They traded him to Houston. They got a couple of picks for that. Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant. Nobody too special. So I don't expect to see too much through the air. And more importantly, you're playing against Baltimore, so somebody's going to get picked. But remember, early season heroics, Fitzmagic finds a way to be magic. So who knows? But I'm picking the Ravens to win this game. Then, NFC East matchup. The Redskins going to Lincoln Financial Field to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. First and foremost, you got a healthy Carson Wentz. And that's big time, all right? He's not rushing back from any injury like he did last year. So he's going to be at 100%. Will this be the 2017 Carson Wentz? Now, if it is, the league is in trouble. More importantly, the Redskins in trouble. Everybody in the NFC East, they in trouble. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. More importantly, in the backfield, you got Jordan Howard, who's coming from the Chicago Bears. Now, this is a guy who ran for 1,300 yards, then 1,200 yards, and then he just was under 1,000 this past year at like 930 something. So you got a capable running back who's able to run between the tackles or beat you to outside the tackles. So that's going to be interesting. More importantly, on the offensive line, you got a Jason Peters who's coming back. You got a Jason Kelsey who's also there, and a Lane Johnson. Those are three people who are Pro Bowlers up front. I expect to see the run game flourish in this particular game against those Bama boys up front for the Washington Redskins. So I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out. More importantly, the receiving core. D-Jax has returned. Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, and you got Zach Ertz, who's there as well. The passing attack is going to be lethal this season. And I expect to see that Philadelphia Eagles offense put up some points. Now, defensively, you got Cox up front, you got Malik Jackson up front. In the secondary, they're healthy this year, although Jalen Mills is not playing this particular game. And you also did see the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles last year decimated by injury. So I'm curious to see how things are going to play out, but I expect them to go out there and play exceptional. For the Redskins, starting at quarterback, no, it's not Alex Smith. His leg is still in a cast. Who's going to be starting? Case Keenum. Who's going to be at running back? Is it Darius Geist? How do you pronounce his last name? Juice? Geist? Whatever it is. Coming back, LSU. Got hurt last year. Couldn't play. Adrian Peterson had to step in for him. But he's going to be starting. Adrian Peterson's going to be his backup. So he better make sure he looks over his shoulder because he got a first ballot Hall of Famer ready to play at any time that he's called. But I expect that run game to play well throughout the season. But this particular game, I don't see it happening. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to shut down that run game. Case Keenum don't really got too much toys to throw to because you got yourself Trey Quinn, Terry McLaurin, and Jordan Reed, he's questionable right now. So who really knows? So yeah, I expect to see the Eagles go out there and get that W in front of their home team. Then the Rams taking on the Panthers. Jared Goff just got paid $110 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money. Pay for my student loans. But you got Todd Gurley, tendonitis in his knees. Will he be able to hold up? I think he will in this particular game. Then the trio of receivers in Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp may play this game. They say he's questionable, but I expect to see him play. So, and Cooper Kupp is the most important one on that offense. I don't care what nobody says, he's the most important one on that offense. He's got to be able to go out there and perform because when he's not on the field, the Rams are a different team. Although they were able to make it to the Super Bowl, they were able to make it there. But if he was there, I think he would have been the difference maker. What would have led them to holding up the Lombardi Trophy. But Bill Belichick said, nah, that ain't happening. So, that's what's going on offense. I expect to see their offense go out there and perform. Sean McVay is an absolute mastermind. He'll figure out a way to get it done. On defense, they added some names, all right? You got Clay Matthews. He used to be an All-Pro, Pro Bowler. You got Aaron Donald, who's already coming back. You don't want to have to block this man. Back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, #1 player on the NFL Top 100, voted by his peers. He's well respected. I would not want to stand in front of that man. Personally, I believe if he wanted to go to war and stop any war around the nation, around the damn globe, he could just do it. Stand there, flex his abs. Whoa, he's too big to have abs. Let's put our guns down. Things like that. Scary man. More importantly, you added to Eric Weddle. You got Marcus Peters, and Aqib Talib. So you got a capable secondary. I'm not really a big fan of Eric Weddle anymore. He's not what he used to be. He's completely fallen off, but that veteran leadership that is there, I think he can galvanize, that defense along with the other, veteran names on that defense as well. But for the Panthers, you got a healthy Cam. This is big time. Big time. Healthy Cam. He's been working on his passing, working on his mechanics. He's always been an upper body thrower. If he starts to use his legs and throw, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. And believe me, this Rams defense has a lot of names. I don't think they're as good as they look on paper. That front four is something serious, or I should say their front seven is something serious. I told you the names in the secondary. So it sounds like it could be scary. Cam, if he's able to scramble and get outside, I think he's faster than the linebacking core of the Los Angeles Rams. However, Cam is, he's going into year number 10 now, year number 9. So who knows if he's going to be using his legs the way that he used to. But he needs to stay himself protected as well. So slide, brother, slide. More importantly, if you have to, dump the ball off like you've been doing the last year to Christian McCaffrey, because he's going to be able to get it done. I think he's going to go out there and run very well, because the Rams are good against the pass. Pardon me, last year, was it good against the pass, good against the run? Whatever the case was, I expect McCaffrey to go out there and have a good game. Then you still got what's going on over there in their receiving core? Nobody really. Outside of, dump it off to Greg Olsen, you got Christian McCaffrey. Find the white people, Cam. Throw the ball to the white people who are wearing your jersey, of course. Because you throw it the other way, it's going to be somebody else with flowing hair. It's going to be, Clay Matthews going the other way, heading into the end zone. More importantly, don't have the ball in the hands of Aqib Talib. He's been trying to get pick 6, number 10. Or number 11. Is it 10 or 11? Let me know in the comment section. You'll win a pin. Now, defensively, you added a Chiseled McCoy. That's big time. Luke Kuechly coming back as well, and they no longer have Thomas Davis, but with the addition of Chiseled McCoy, that's going to be the needed penetration they need from the interior portion of the line. But I see the Rams going in to Carolina, walking out with the W. Now let's flip the page, move on to what's going on in the AFC. We got the Colts taking on the Chargers. For the Colts, Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback, because Andrew Luck took his ball and went home, because the man needed time to find himself. Mental health is serious. I wish you the best, brother. But Jacoby Brissett, who will be starting, here's something that has to be noted. 2017, when he started quarterback the entire season for the Indianapolis Colts, he was sacked 52 times. In the times that he was sacked for 52 times, he also had T.Y. Hilton, who was out there, who started all 16 games, in which he had career lows. All right, in receptions, he had the second lowest of his career since his rookie season, I believe. In yards, the second lowest in his career since his rookie season, I believe. And the lowest number of TDs on his career. This cannot happen, especially for a receiver of the caliber of T.Y. Hilton. So if you're Jacoby Brissett, you go out there, you find T.Y. Hilton. If you get into the red zone, you find Eric Ebron. Get the ball into his hand. Then in the backfield, you got somebody who's emerging. You got a Marlon. Return of the Mac. It is return of the Mac. Give him the ball. Run the football. Have a balanced attack, because the offensive line only squandered, 18 sacks last year on Andrew Luck. They need to be able to protect Jacoby Brissett. If they are, I think he can do amazing things for that organization. Now, moving on to the Chargers. No Melvin Gordon. He's not here. He wants to be traded, or he wants to be paid, and they're probably not going to pay him. So who's going to be starting? You got Austin Eckler. You got Jackson. Justin Jackson as well. I like Jackson more than I like Eckler. I believe they should have started Jackson, but I think they're going to end up starting Eckler. Who knows? In time, as things develop, if Gordon doesn't come back, I expect to see Jackson take over that starting role. But you got Hunter Henry, who's coming back. Then you got Keenan Allen, who's still exceptional. Phillip Rivers can sling the football anywhere. He still can play good football. And then defensively, you're bringing in Thomas Davis. Joey Bosa's healthy. Melvin Ingram's healthy. Denzel Perriman's coming back. I think he tore his ACL or his Achilles last year. I believe it was the ACL. But in this particular game, I have the Colts winning. Because pardon me, not the Colts. The Chargers. I think they're going to be able to get to the quarterback. As much as good as that offensive line was, I think Brissett is going to hold the ball a little bit longer, or he might try to use his legs. Whatever the case is, I think more importantly, the Chargers are going to blitz him. Because they probably don't think he's ready for that position, although he did play a full season 2 seasons ago. But I think the Chargers are going to walk out with the W. Next, the Bengals taking on the Seahawks. The Seahawks going to win that game. Moving on to the next game. No, let's break down that one. The Bengals have no chance. Andy Dalton starting in what will probably be his last season if he cannot get the Bengals to the postseason and win a postseason game. Yes, there's no Marvin Lewis. Yes, this is a whole new regime. Yes, AJ Green may be out for week 1. But still, they're going to expect Andy Dalton to go out there and perform. And I do not see that happening in Seattle. Seattle's defense may not be the Legion of Boom, but damn it, it's in Seattle. And playing in Seattle is always hard because the 12s are out there making a ton of noise. And I'm not talking about the police academy. So, you got Joe Mixon, John Ross. Joe Mixon, he was 4th in the NFL in rushing last year, I believe, or maybe it was, he was 4th in rushing, and he was close to leading the AFC. Now, this guy can run the football, so I expect to see them hand it off to him a lot. John Ross, you ran the fastest 40 time in the combine. What have you done? Done nothing but get hurt. This man can't stay healthy. He needs to make a breakthrough this season. With no AJ Green, I don't see too much offense coming from the Bengals. Defensively, it's the exact same thing. Now, you got emerging stars like a William Jackson. You got the old school, or I should say, the people who you already know about with the Carlos Dunlap and the Geno Atkins. So they're going to go out and do theirs. But outside of that linebacking core, that secondary outside of William Jackson don't really impress me. So I expect to see the Seahawks go out there and get things done. Why? Because they got that dangerous man, dangerous, Sol Wilson, slinging the ball around. And you got a Tyler Lockett who's trying to establish himself and get himself paid and get a big time contract because he's kind of disrespected amongst the receivers, all right? When we talk about receivers, you don't bring up Tyler Lockett's name. Now, the man is good. Should he be mentioned with the high-end receivers in the league? I don't think so. But you've got this season to prove it to me, buddy. So I expect this man to go out there and play well. Chris Carson starting at running back. He's no Marshawn Lynch, but he's going to go out there and get it done. He had a quietly good season when he's healthy. He puts up some numbers, so we'll see what happens. Because last year you saw a running back by committee, where I think it was the tail half of the season, Seattle was looking like the best goddamn running football team in the league. So they've got to be able to run that football effectively, and I think Chris Carson will be able to do that at home against this Bengals front. More importantly, DK Metcalf, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out, because Russell Wilson's going to put the ball in the right spot. This man had everybody's eyebrows going through their forehead during the goddamn combine, so let's see what's happening over there with him. And on defense, they added a scary man, all right? It's time to watch the It movie because they added Jadeveon Clowney. There's a ton of clowns on defense for the Seattle Seahawks, and I guarantee you, Andy Dalton's going to be seeing clowns by the end of the doggone game. And, of course, you can't forget Bobby Wagner, Mr. I don't miss no tackles. So he's going to stop people right where they started or where they caught the football. I got Seattle winning this game. Next, NFC East matchup, the second one. Why is it that the NFC East just got in-division matchups to start out the year? Why is it the Cowboys always play against the Giants to kick off the season? I ain't complaining because it's always an entertainment game. Why? Because the Giants, they going to lose. They going to Dallas. Eli Manning starting at quarterback again. I expected that to happen. Nobody like Daniel Jones, but then when you saw in the preseason, the man threw a 400-yard game. He's starting to sling the ball around, throwing some touchdowns. Now everybody looking at Eli like, I can't wait for you to beat vintage Eli and throw a ton of interceptions. So that's going to be easy. Outside of that, the offense is just going to be Saquon Barkley. That is going to be interesting. The man's going to be looking like Barry Sanders out there. That offensive line, I have no faith in them. So Saquon's going to have to be doing everything his doggone self. Because the receivers, who you got? Sterling Shepard. All right, he was a discount Odell. Then you had Cody Latimer, Evan Ingram, exceptional, but then you got a Benny Fowler. Yeah, they ain't about to do nothing. Give the ball to Saquon. Get the hell out of the way. Okay, defensively they added Jabril Peppers, but I don't think that's going to be enough to go out there and stop the Cowboys. Why? Because they got Dick. They just paid Zeke. Amari Cooper. Jason Witten is back. On defense, we paid Tank Lawrence. We paid Jalen Smith. Van Der Esch. Byron Jones. We them boys. We go win the game. We go in the division. Then we gonna go to the Super Bowl. Basically, Dallas got their whole team intact. More importantly, on the offensive line, Travis Frederick is back. He is back. So what does that mean? You got Frederick, you got Tyron Smith, you got Zach Martin, Lyle Collins is there and healthy as well. That offensive line gonna be hitting. This gonna be a brutal game for the New York Giants. I think the damn Dallas Cowboys go out there and absolutely roll all over the Giants. I think it's going to be like a 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown differential, and everybody's going to be coming into work on Monday. Dude, I think the Cowboys could go to the Super Bowl. Skip Bayless, he's going to orgasm. You know what's hilarious? After I said Skip Bayless was going to orgasm, the camera actually cut off. Why? Because it began to envision what an orgasm of Skip Bayless looks like. Let me give you a demonstration. Zeke! And then that's the end of the quotal activity. Moving on to the next game, we have the 49ers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now this is going to be an interesting game, alright? It's going to be interesting because you got a lot of names that are under a microscope for this particular season. Number one, you got porn star Jimmy G, alright? Because he started out his career 10-0. And then what? He got hurt. Threw interceptions. And what did he do this preseason? Nothing. Okay, so we're going to have to see what's going to happen with this man. You got a magnificent tight end in George Kittle, but you got a Marquise Goodwin. Get him the football. Dante Pettis, he's not really showed too much, but he's a decent receiver. Get him the football, and when worst comes to worst, hand the football over to Matt Breida. You got a decent offense. I think Kyle Shanahan will be able to get that offense going. All right, defensively, they got a D Ford. They picked up D Ford, although this man happens to have, you know, the propensity to be offsides at the wrong time to put New England away. But he did have 13 sacks last year, 2-time Defensive Player of the Week, and he was a Pro Bowler. So that's a great pickup for them. They also got Quan Alexander. They picked him up as well. And Richard Sherman will be coming back. So I expect that defense to have that veteran leadership on that side, at least in the secondary, because you got the dreadlock powers of Richard Sherman instructing to the team, hey man, come on now, let's get it done. Skip Bayless, I'm better than your whole career. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jameis Winston, everybody's going to be wondering what this man's going to do this season. Because if he can't get it done, he's just like Marcus Mariota. He's got to go. So he understands he has to play good football. Get the goddamn ball to Mike Evans. Deshaun Jackson's not there anymore, but get the ball to Mike Evans. Always throw the ball to that man. O.J. Howard, I believe in that man at tight end. Get him the football as well. In the running back position, you got Peyton Barber. Not too high on him. Not too high on him. But ultimately, I think he'll get you, if he can get you 60 yards, 70 yards, run the football, exceptional at that point, you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay to where you have that balanced attack and the 49ers won't bring the heat every single play. They picked up Ndamukong Suh, so that's going to be good for their defensive front. And Ndamukong Suh can always provide pressure. And you still got Levante David back there, so I expect that tackling machine to go out there and make plays. But still, I am rolling with the 49ers to win this game. Next, the Lions taking on the Cardinals in a game that nobody's going to watch outside of Detroit and Arizona. Or if you have localized television and you're forced to watch that game, I apologize to you. But for the Lions, you have Matthew Stafford starting at quarterback yet again for another season. The man who's paid in the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. He's paid as if he is, although he's not, and never won a playoff game. Now, Kerryon Johnson, the one man who has ran for 2 100-yard games in the past 5 years for the Detroit Lions. He needs to be able to have an exceptional season and run for 1,000 yards, if not 1,000, at least between 800 and 1,000, and have a presence every single game if the Lions want to go anywhere. But in this particular game, I think he will have an opportunity because the Cardinals are a bad team, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. So here is the opportunity for Kerryon Johnson to go out there and run the football. And through the air, Stafford still has those same toys. You got Kenny Golladay, you got Marvin Jones, you got Jesse James with the Pittsburgh Steelers at tight end. So this man's got to go out there. I expect to see him throw for about 300 yards like he usually does anyway. Matthew Stafford slings the ball anywhere. He'll always throw great. But Kerryon Johnson got to go out there and play well. Defensively, they added Trey Flowers from the New England Patriots. So Matt Patricia knows how to play with him. He's a good toy that he used to play with back in New England. So we'll be interested to see how that defensive line plays out. In the secondary, Darius Slay is healthy. And Kyler Murray gets your first start. So you throw a couple of bad balls, Darius Slay will pick that off because he's the top 5 corner in the league. Now, when we're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, like I just mentioned, Kyler Murray making his very first start in the preseason, he did not look good. He did not look good. Now, is he on a great team? No. Is the offensive line good? Not at all. Did he admit they were only calling like 6 plays? Yes, he did. So I'm hoping they open up the playbook and catch people by surprise. K1, you better be out there giving people KY jelly, making them have to apply it to their buttholes because they're going to be shitting themselves when you start running with the football or slinging it. You better make people have to go out there and have to drink prune juice because they're going to have too much goddamn, poop stored in their stomach. You got to go out there and play good football. People are believing in you, man. They're believing in you. Go out there and play good football. David Johnson, oh my Lord, this man is getting paid, I think, number 4 as the 4th highest salary for a running back in the league. We haven't seen a good season since 2016. Yes, you were hurt in 2017, but still, you gotta play good football, man. Last year it was a bad offensive line. You ran for like 900 yards still. But you gotta go back to that all-pro level that you were at 4 years ago. Get it done, brother. You gotta go out there and play good football. Dreadlocks Hall of Famer Larry Fitzgerald, he's still around. He's going to do what he does. If anything, Kyler Murray needs to put the ball in his hands at all times when you're dropping back. All right, get the ball to Fitz. And also, Michael Crabtree came over from Baltimore. Now, his hands are not as automatic as it was when he was younger or when it was in college, but he still is Michael Crabtree. I always believe in him. When he has his confidence going, he can be one of the better receivers in the league. But that starts up here. So, Crabtree, get your head out of the barrel. You see what I did there? Crab, barrel, Michael Crabtree. Maybe it's not a good time to be a comedian. Next, the Texans taking on the Saints. Monday Night Football in New Orleans, all right? Get your beignets out. This is going to be an exciting one for the Texans. You have Deshaun Watson, who's returning back, but in the backfield, Lamar Miller tore his ACL on his first carry in the preseason. That is scary, very scary, not good. Not good at all. What does that mean? Deshaun Watson probably going to have to throw the ball much more than he would like to. Now, Deshaun Watson's a very capable quarterback, so him throwing the ball should not be a concern. What your concern should be is the offensive line, all right? The same offensive line that had this man as the most sacked quarterback in the league last year. And he was still able to get them to the playoffs. Impressive. Right? Reminds me of a young Ben Roethlisberger, who's probably about 24 sacks away from being the most all-time sacked quarterback of all time. But we're not talking about them right now. We'll get to him a little bit later. With Deshaun Watson, he's got to be able to get to his pieces with this piss-poor offensive line. You got arguably the best receiver in the league in DeAndre Hopkins. Larry Fitzgerald's passing down the golden hands to him, all right? When we had Chris Carter, then we had Larry Fitzgerald, it's going to DeAndre Hopkins. Now, get the football in his hand, you'll always have good times. Will Fuller, he's healthy for now. Get him the ball. Kiki Cootie, get him the ball. You got a very capable receiving core. Running back, I'm not sure who the backup is. Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson. He's got to go out there and play good as well because he's going to be filling the void for Lamar Miller. And Lamar Miller has put up some good numbers for the Texans, as quiet as those numbers have been. But Duke Johnson got to go in there and play well. There's no Jadeveon Clowney, like I mentioned earlier. He went to the Seattle Seahawks. J.J. Watt is healthy. Whitney Merciless is healthy. Those guys got to be able to get after the quarterback. You already know J.J. Watt will. So this message is more for Whitney Merciless. In the secondary, Jonathan Joseph is still starting at cornerback at 35 years old. I was in junior high school when this man started with the Cincinnati Bengals. My man, it is impressive that you're still playing. But holy smokes, you gotta cover somebody. Because last year I saw the age showing. You're still starting, you gotta go out there and play exceptional football, brother. But you old as hell. Now, when we talk about the New Orleans Saints, you got a highly motivated team. Highly motivated team. Stephon Diggs, it just came to me. It just came to me. Minnesota's other receiver, it's aside from Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. Oh, I knew it was coming in the Saints segment. I knew it. All right. But let me calm myself down. New Orleans Saints, highly motivated team to get back to the Super Bowl. It's been a decade now. All right? You have Drew Brees as Jesus. Drew Brees, who after the Cowboys game last year did not look like Drew Brees. He looked terrible. Terrible. So I expect this man to go out there, return back to what he looked like when he was an MVP candidate through the first 13 games, 12 games. Turns out my battery was a Saints fan, and when I started talking about what happened last year, it decided to cut off. So basically, what I was talking about was Drew Brees got to return back to that MVP caliber, kind of passer that he was last year through 12 games. Next, Alvin Kamara, his first season as the #1 back. Although Mark Ingram was hurt 4 games, Alvin Kamara was playing as if he was a starting running back, and he still had to split carries and still was one of the better backs in the league. Now he has his opportunity to thrive. We saw this happen last year with Derrick Henry, who took a little bit of game for him to finally emerge. So I expect Alvin Kamara to go out there and play exceptional football. You got the $100 million receiver out there, Michael Thomas, looks like me, getting it done. All right, he has the highest catch radius I think he had last year until a few games left in the season when DeAndre Hopkins ended up passing him. But I expect that offense to flow. As long as Drew Brees is protected, he doesn't make the same mistakes he did for the final 6 games of last year. Defensively, the Saints are still the same, so I don't expect to see anything different from them. I think they're going to get it done against this Texans team. I think that that front four for them, Cam Jordan and the guys, they're going to get after Deshaun Watson, and because of that offensive line, I got the Saints winning. Then, did I say who's going to win between the Cardinals and the Lions? Yeah, I'm going to pick the Lions to win that game. Then, the Broncos taking on the Raiders. Now for the Broncos, a little bit different at quarterback. You got Joe Flacco starting at quarterback. So let's see if Joe Flacco is a different guy. Funny, because the only thing that's elite about Joe Flacco is his Nike socks. That is a throwback joke. Now, in the backfield, you got Phillip Lindsay. I always liked him, that small little musclehead guy. Let's see what he can do. The receivers for Flacco, you got yourself Emmanuel Sanders, Cameron Sutton. I like those two. I think Flacco will be able to get them the ball, especially going deep. Flacco can throw the football deep in the top of the league. So if they're going out there, they want to take some shots, they've got the right pieces to do it. And Emmanuel Sanders will extend his entire body. You talk about effort, that's what the E stands for in Emmanuel. Then, defensively, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, those are the only 2 people in the front 7 you really got to worry about. All right, yes, I understand there's some emerging, pieces with their defensive tackles. I do like Wolf on the edge as well, but Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, those are the people who you better be circling if you're the Oakland Raiders, and I expect them to go out there and get a couple of sacks on Derek Vehicle. Then in the secondary, you still got Chris Harris, who can play good football. He's not what he once was, but he can still play great football. One of the better top 10 corners in the league. Top 5, he's dropped out in my book, but he's still exceptional corner. Now for the Raiders, those Gruden grinders, baby. Derek Vehicle is at the helm. Behind him, starting at running back, will be Josh Jacobs. Now we did not see too much from Jacobs in the preseason, even in Hard Knocks. I didn't really see this man that much, so it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. You guys let me know if he's even going to be starting, because this is what was announced. These were the rosters that was announced. I see all these articles talking about him, but I'm not too sure my doggone self. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens with him. Antonio Brown will be the starting receiver for the Oakland Raiders. I expect him to go out there and give people numbers. Now, when he lined up against the Broncos, almost every single time, he gives them hell. All right, it's too goddamn tough to cover Antonio Brown. Now, will Derek Carr throw accurate passes enough to get him the ball? More importantly, you understand Antonio Brown comes with having to get him a lot of targets. One of the reasons why he always had issues with Ben Roethlisberger, although the past 3, 4, 5, 6 years, he's been top 2 in targets, if not the most in targets. So, Derek Carr, get ready to force some footballs. But it's Antonio Brown, he'll find a way to catch it. Now, they've also got Hunter Renfrow coming from Clemson. I like him. Safety blanket guy. White guy who could probably be on the Patriots. He runs very good routes. Finds a way to be open. They're going to get him the football. And if I was Derek Carr, I'd make sure I do. Defensively, Vontaze Burfict coming in. Ooh, you got penalty Poppy. But he's a good linebacker when he doesn't get a lot of penalties. All right? So, also you drafted Jonathan Abram. I expect to see that man go out there and play very well. On the defensive line, they had a higher pick, pick number 4. Forgetting his name. Farrell. I think it is Farrell. I expect to see him go out there and play exceptional football as well. But I do have the Raiders winning this game at home against the Broncos. I think it's going to be a very good game. Worth the watch on Monday night, because it's going to be the second Monday Night Football game. Remember, Monday Night Football, it starts an hour earlier because they have a doubleheader always in the first week of the season. And last but not least, New England England Patriots taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday Night Football. This game I'll be watching extremely closely. You got Big Ben and the boys taking on New England Patriots. Let's first start it with the Patriots. Tom Brady returning for season number 20. All right, the man is 42 years old. He has not been hit like he's 42 years old. So somebody got to go out there and hit him, whether it's going to be Cameron Haywood, whether it's going to be Justin Hargrave, whether it's going to be Stephon Tuitt, whether it's going to be, Bud Dupree, whether it's going to be Devin Bush, TJ Watt, whoever the hell it is. Somebody needs to hit this man for my pleasure. All right? To the much, chagrin of the Uggs company. But then again, if you break Tom Brady's clavicle, it doesn't affect the Uggs shoe. We ain't talking about that right now. Don't break his clavicle. We need everybody healthy. Then, in the backfield, you got yourself Sony Michel, who still can play exceptional football, but you need to be able to shut down the run if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you want to win. For the New England Patriots, if they get the run game going, it is over. You give Tom Brady access to the entire playbook, it is over. I don't know how many times we got to keep talking about this, but it will be over. There's no Gronk. Now, we've seen the Patriots go and win a Super Bowl without Gronk, but they never started a season without Gronk. All right? So that's going to be something that is something to look at. Then you have yourself Josh Gordon. He's returning. He's going to be out there. Flash. Let's see what's going to happen with him. Julian Edelman, he's questionable, but I expect that man to go out there and play. Secondary for the Patriots, very scary. McCourty twins, and you got Stephon Gilmore, very exceptional secondary out there. So, Big Ben, you're slinging the ball. You led the league in interceptions last year. You throw it up in the wrong spot, you will be intercepted. But did see this game happen last year in which the Pittsburgh Steelers did prevail. But this year it's in Foxborough. And winning in Foxborough, that's not something that Pittsburgh has done in quite some time. So, we'll be interested to see how things play out. But on the Pittsburgh side, Big Ben, you need to prove to everybody this season that you didn't need a Le'Veon Bell. You didn't need an Antonio Brown in order to put up those historic numbers you've put up in the past 7 years. Because a lot of people, they haven't really took time to look at the numbers. If you look at the numbers, Big Ben is right there. It's scary. It's ridiculous. The amount of, yardage and sort of prolific passing that this man happened to have. He's the only quarterback in NFL history with 4 perfect passing games. All right, that's something to be noted. Don't sleep on Big Ben. James Conner, exceptional. You got Juju Smith-Schuster, exceptional. Can they prove that they are in the upper echelon? Because they were the number 2s, last year. Although Conner started the entire season outside of those couple of games that he ended up missing, he still was a question mark of, Le'Veon Bell is still the number 1 guy. Who knows if he's going to come back, whatever the case may be. So now we'll see no monkey on your back, no shoulder to look over to see if Le'Veon's returning. So you are the guy. And for Juju, you're number 1 now, so you got to go out there and play exceptional football. Vance McDonald, I expect to see the manimal get the ball in his hand and stiff arm people into the dirt. That's what you need to do if you need Pittsburgh to win. Then, on defense, you brought in somebody like a Devin Bush, who I expect to see all over the field. Now, if he becomes a hassle for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, that will be good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But who I'm picking to win this game, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Let's go 17-14, 17-13. I got Pittsburgh winning because, damn it, I'm biased. So, let me tell you who my picks are. I got the Packers winning in Chicago. I got the Chiefs winning in Jacksonville. I got the Falcons winning in Minnesota. I got the Browns winning in Cleveland. I got the Jets winning at home. I have the Ravens beating the Dolphins, the Eagles beating the Redskins, the Rams beating the Panthers, the Chargers beating the Colts, the Seahawks beating the Bengals, the Cowboys beating the Giants, the 49ers beating the Bucks, the Lions beating the Cardinals, the Saints defeating the Texans, the Raiders beating the Broncos, and the Steelers defeating the Patriots. Those are my picks. You let me know what your picks are in the comment section. Damn it, Orlando Jones, I believe that's your name. The Tennessee Titans fans, you can feel free to tag, and pin what time your certain teams are being said, because damn it, I'm too lazy to goddamn do it. But this has been your picks for week 1 of your 2019 NFL Week 1 Kickoff Analysis Show. I am your host of the show. We won't be running this doggone long. Moving forward, it's the first episode. We had a lot to break down, but I'm the host of the show, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. I am signing off, and I thank all 8 of you guys who watched this from the beginning to the end. I will see you at the post game of Week 1. Woo! Football is back, baby. To the shadow realm I go.